Hey, everybody. Happy game week. It is here. Ohio State and Notre Dame. The offseason is over. And this year, Bobby Carpenter is actually excited for the opener. Last year, he was just so bored.
Bored.
I'm not ready for it. On the road doesn't count.
Thursday night.
It just was so nondescript. I know it was Minnesota, and it ended up probably being a better game than what you would have liked to have seen. But this year, it's at home. It's a night game. It's Notre Dame. And it's happy game week. And hopefully, the only proper way to end happy game week is with a happy game week ending. So that's where we're looking.
We're off to
a happy ending.
We're off to a flying start. You can tell that we're excited to be back in the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters, talking about football and getting a game on Saturday night in the Horseshoe. That's Justin Zwick, Bobby Carpenter, and Nicole Cox having us back in here for another glorious Monday in Columbus, Ohio. And Nicole, how are you celebrating the start of game week?
I'm super excited. I have family coming in town, so we're all watching it at home. I will be rewatching it on Sunday, taking notes for our show on Monday, just so everybody's aware. But
are we allowed to be here on Monday? We should
nope,
probably talk
Tuesday.
About that now.
Yep, Tuesday. Right, we're closed on Monday, Labor Day. Mm-hmm.
Unscripted content coming to you right away.
Yeah.
We're making it up as we go on the flight. Anyway, so 2 viewings you have scheduled for this week.
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Bob, how many viewings will you go through?
That's a great question because I'm going to be at the game. So to have any type of semblance of what happened, I'll probably have to rewatch it.
You can't carry a notebook at the game, I don't think.
Well, I could.
You can.
His hands might be full.
It's going to get sloppy as the game goes on. What was I trying to say
If I can't read my own writing at the end, does it matter if I wrote something down? Like, that's the real question.
No room for
My plan is to lock in early, and then hopefully –
hopefully it won't be too long.
And that's my point is hopefully by middle of the second quarter, I'll be able to slowly start relaxing, enjoying the night. And then the second half, we'll get to see a lot of the guys that maybe probably you weren't anticipating seeing.
A little hint about where Bob's score prediction might go later on in the show. JZ, how are you celebrating game week?
Gosh.
You got a big cow on Saturday. I think
I got half a cow this past Saturday, so we're going to probably thaw some of that and really get after it here Saturday night for the game. But no, you got a nice preview show I'm doing Friday night, and then pregame Saturday morning, then I'll head home. Get ready for a day of football.
Can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful.
It's already here. Had some bangers already. Shout out to Scott Frost.
If you call that a banger.
His career is almost over.
That was amazing.
The outside kick, I just didn't get it.
Pat Fitzgerald, as I was watching that game and listening to Brock Hewitt on the call, and he, if you watch, there was one time they ran it 3 straight plays. Northwestern did 3 and out. They come out, they run it 2 straight times. It's 3rd and 5. He's like, you can't run it 6 straight times in a possession.
Oh, wait.
And then they hand it off, and he rips off like 25 yards. He goes, what I meant to say is you got to stay with the run, keep banging away. And I'm watching this. He's like, non-aggressive play calling, 3rd and 10 instead of trying to pick up a first down, playing for a field goal, all these different things. I'm like, I feel like I'm watching Jim Tressel call this game right now with how they're playing. But you know what he said? I'm just going to continue to give Scott Frost. I've got him on the line. I'm just
Here's a little rope.
Keep going, buddy. Keep going. Eventually, when you're up 28-17 and you feel like you're in a really good spot, that's when you're going to do something real crazy, and then we're going to pounce and then slowly just erode your lead the rest of the half and beat you.
That's what he did. That's enough talk for the rest of the Big Ten. Let's get into the only thing that matters.
It was amazing, though.
Yeah, it was fun. We're in full regular season mode when Scott Frost is choking away another one possession loss.
Poor guy.
All right, Roosters, Buckeye leaves.
Yes.
We don't have a game yet, so now we have to predict, Nicole, who's going to shine.
I think I'm going to pull a Schlegel.
Oh, boy.
All
of them. Whole team.
Take them all.
I am.
It's just become the go-to move on this show.
I'm excited to see the defensive ends. Jack Sawyer, JT, Tui Moluau.
Got it.
Tui Moluau.
Yes.
Got it. Rolls off the tongue.
It's going to be a household name.
Just a great kid. I've seen things going on with him throughout offseason. I'm really anxious to see him play, and Zach Harrison. And I just think they need to put pressure on this new quarterback with Notre Dame. So
making his debut in the Horseshoe.
No big deal. It's just another stadium.
Well,
now I just feel like when you throw something out into the universe like that, it just comes back and bites you. So I just feel like that was a very bad idea. And it just looks bad. Anytime you put anything negative out there, I just think that's terrible.
Sort of damned if you do, damned if you
well,
don't.
Well,
right?
not really. Just hey, it's a great stadium. I'm looking forward to getting there. Always seen it on TV. You know, you don't have to come out and be like, oh, it's not going to be a big deal. I mean, 105,000 people, that's no big deal.
In all fairness, Notre Dame does play in a lot of big stadiums. They play in a lot of historic
Yeah, but their
places.
stadium's not that big.
Oh, and
right?
theirs isn't. And obviously it's on the road, so that's going to be a little different. He could have said, hey, Notre Dame, we play a lot of big stadiums. This one is awesome. I'm sure it's going to be really loud and an awesome environment. That's why
how you handle that.
That's why you come to a school like this, is to play in games
Yeah.
like that and against a team like Ohio State. Boom, you wrapped it up. You said, we're not afraid of it, but it's also awesome. And there we go.
And it's just one more thing that Notre Dame has said that seems unnecessary. Like Nicole brings up Michael Mayer there and Marcus Freeman multiple times throughout the offseason, poking and prodding at his own alma mater and his own degree. I don't think Ohio State needed any more motivation, Nicole. And then Notre Dame's just like, here you go.
Yeah.
Would you like this?
I think that was almost fan motivation, though. Like, the players don't care about being loud. Now, I mean, Gene Smith retweeted some stuff that I was talking about. A bunch of people. I mean, it's going to be a frothy environment.
I just think, I think the crowd, that there's something to be said for that, especially with having a new quarterback in the first game and listening to our fans is. I mean, it's going to be intense.
When you're going into this game, though, knowing what Ohio State has, you don't give anybody anything.
Right.
You know, after he said that and it went out, and it is what it is. But you know, his coach probably like, "What? Come on, guy.
What did
we're going into 105,000 against the number 2 team in the country. We know everything they have, and you're going to go say that. So we're going to get the crowd really involved into this now too, with a new quarterback and new guys playing. That's silly.
What did they say? Gene said, bring your D batteries to the game. Bring your D battery
golf balls,
drop.
mustard bottles.
Whatever.
That's a different 100,000 seat stadium. No.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. It's a joke, folks. Don't do that.
Please.
Jay-Z.
Do you know what the D batteries are for, Nicole?
No.
See, she's so naive. That's what I knew she would have
I
been
was
appalled.
I was like, oh.
to
to
throw at the players.
Now that is terrible. See, it wouldn't even cross. It wouldn't even cross my mind.
I know.
That just wouldn't even cross my mind.
What they do at
terrible.
Wisconsin, they'd put batteries in marshmallows or something like that.
Yeah.
Throw
They
'em
put
down.
quarters.
Or
They
that's what
pack quarters in marshmallows to give them some density.
They had to put a fence over top of where we walked out at Wisconsin.
Are you being serious?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They
Just
would
another
dump.
stadium.
That was the
No big
first
deal.
place.
Yeah, just another stadium.
That was the first place. Well, they played there last year. Didn't Notre Dame opening? I think it was their opening game. And that was the first place where I, like, walking out our freshman year, that I'm like, what is that? And it literally just someone dumped a whole Coke, like, down, like, my neck.
Yeah,
and
it's nuts.
I wasn't playing enough to, like, get fully sweaty. So it was just, like, kind of sticky on me most of the game. It kind of started, I was, like, welcoming the rain to kind of get the.
Oh, yeah, that was the
pop.
year when it dropped like 30 degrees when we, oh, gosh.
Was there any mix in there? Did it just start?
I didn't smell it.
He went out and he started
But the lady,
looking
that
at
did, lady that did it was like 60. And I'm like, my goodness, like, what is going on? I would have accepted it from, like, a college kid, but from, like, someone who's maybe a grandmother, like, come on now.
Yeah, that's a different place up there.
Welcome to the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jay-Z.
Buckeye leave.
Yeah.
Gosh. You know, I'm going to go with the offensive side of the ball because I
Oh.
have to. And we've heard
There's no rules on that.
well, I mean, I kind of got to keep it going there because, you know, we got defense and Cam Brown or what.
Well, spoiler alert.
Yeah. But, I mean, coming into this season, I guess we had Justin Fields for 2 years, but.
The second year was a little wonky.
Yeah, but I mean, just for CJ, the pressure that he's went through this whole offseason, just that Utah game, and with the way he played towards the end of the year, Heisman finalist, there's tons of pressure there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see how he handles that, knowing everybody's been looking at him, circling him on the depth chart. You know, we got to get after this guy. We got to get him off his marks. We got to put pressure on, like, just the
Take
different
him
things.
down.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're circling this guy. They got to make sure that he doesn't take over the ball game, and I am just pumped for him to go out and take over them and just show. Last year was not that it was a fluke because it was more than one game. You know, he balled out. But if he can come out and have a big one like he did, start right where he left off. I mean, that hype train is going to get going, and
It will be.
I think he just continues to feed into it and to just build his legacy here at Ohio State.
It'll be his slogan, C.J. Stroud, laying the big one right there.
Laying the big one.
As per Justin Zwick, maybe a Tim May, Friday or Monday morning headline. Austin Ward, maybe you write that thing down, be the headline right there.
Could be.
Well, I mean, Jay-Z said it. It must be true.
Hey, why not?
I hope it's going to be true.
unless there's some serious protection issues, which I don't anticipate happening, I think that they will be in a good spot to be able to throw the ball. And if you're going to give Justin Fields, if you're going to give C.J. Stroud 7-on-7 time, that's a bad situation. Because I've watched that.
That's a bad deal for Notre Dame.
I've watched that in
Bad
practice,
deal for a lot of
and I believe our defense is better than theirs, especially in the back end. So if you're going to give those guys that's going to be a long and rough situation. I'm going to go, since everybody's taking their favorite guys. I was having this conversation this morning with John Simon. He's talking about, he's like, "Are we going to be any good on defense?" He goes over and lifts, and he'll watch a little practice. And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, the linebackers like, I'm going to watch this shuffle." I'm like, "Yeah, they didn't." It's like these guys are all first-year starters. Like, I'm telling you, you should have came out and watched. Like, Tommy and Steele are going to be really good. So I'm excited to watch those guys answer a lot of questions because they've been like the bane of people's existence. Our linebackers are terrible, this and that. And like, they're going to be good, and they not just average and like acceptable. They're going to be good players and a critical part of this defense. And I'm excited to watch these guys go on and make plays and to kind of silence all the critics from a year ago, just about lack of production and inability to stop the run and all of those things. The players, and Tommy, I don't know if Tommy and Steele, I don't know if they're really get on social media much or do that stuff. They're quiet guys. Well, they're quiet guys. Some guys,
any kind of media, they're not.
Yes, they don't do anything. I mean, they don't talk. So I don't even think they really communicate with the outside world. But I know this, like, I'm excited that you hear those things a little bit. As much as you want to ignore it, your family and friends hear that crap, and so they ask you questions about it. So that'll be nice, hopefully, for them to come in and alleviate and answer those questions this year. And if you can do it against the 15th ranked team, I don't care if the spread now is ballooned to 17 and change.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you're going up against a big-time matchup. It's Notre Dame.
It's a big-time game. It's Saturday night. It's a top 5 matchup, and two of the most recognizable brands in the history of the sport.
Yeah, that's right. Get goosebumps thinking about that. Just to kick
Lou
off
Holtz is going to just be having a field day. He should be the guest picker.
Be there? I don't know. Jack Harlow has a lot more involved with
Louisville?
These two universities. You got to have him.
Jack Harlow. I mean, of everybody.
Of all the people you could have got for this game.
Nicole, do you know Jack Harlow?
I think I do.
Yes.
I just saw a picture of him yesterday.
Listening to Jack Harlow.
That's how I know.
The kids are listening in the dorm rooms when they're pre-gaming, getting ready to go out and party time.
Mom's weekend,
ready to go.
That makes sense. Nicole probably heard it last year. Mom's weekend, family weekend.
I did hear it from Riley. That's how I know it. I wish I could say I was cool enough to know it on my own.
I don't think you don't want to be cool like that.
JZ, what's your favorite Jack Harlow song?
Hold on.
I don't know.
I learned who Jack Harlow was at the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, well.
Because he did and I watched him. He had these like Gucci shoes or some sort of like.
Oh, he was the guy that they carried around.
Yes, because he had the shoes on. And I'm like, bro, if you're not rich enough, if you're going to wear shoes like that, and know you're going to walk across a dirt track, you're from Louisville, and you can't afford to buy a new pair, you shouldn't be wearing the stinking shoes. You're having people carry you as a grown man.
People carry him?
Yes, across the dirt. It was embarrassing. He's a grown man, Nicole. It's one thing if you're like a girl, like and you got heels on or something. These are like
how about his boys that had to do that though? Hey Bob, I'm gonna need you to pick me up here. I can't walk across.
Exactly. What are you assaulting?
Let me get on the back.
What is this?
I get a
wipe your shoes off.
Yes.
Just make sure that they get it on film that you handed me $10,000 to carry you across the track.
Anyways, guest picker, great.
Yeah,
he probably knows a lot about football.
Hey, you nailed it.
Nice.
ESPN.
Good
Everyone's
work, guys.
Super excited for that with all of his connections to these two programs.
100%.
Lou Holtz would have been perfect. Worked at ESPN, coached at Ohio State, from Ohio, then the longtime coach at Notre Dame.
Jim Tressel's going to be in town. 02 National Championship reunion.
But I'm like, but my thing is like, because everybody loves Lou Holtz, even Buckeye fans, because he used to defend, against Mark May and beat him off with a stick because he loves Tress. And so I'm like, if you were talking about maximizing your viewership, you're going to get all of the people who love these programs watching that game, and
100%.
Or you're going to get Jack Harlow, and maybe Riley tunes in to watch.
Yeah, maybe the kids will be excited about that.
They don't watch this stuff.
You're right.
They're watching YouTube.
Yeah.
The YouTube.
They're watching the Horseshoe Lounge.
The Horseshoe Lounge on
that's
YouTube.
what they care about.
Fun casual conversation.
This is the first time they've ever heard of Jack Harlow, too. Jay-Z was absolutely right because Cameron Brown does deserve a Buckeye leaf. I caught him coming off the field on Wednesday night.
Okay.
He didn't. Yeah. He missed cornerback media availability. And everyone
was he staying on the field to try and stay away from you? Like, Austin's not leaving. I'm waiting him out.
No. Cameron would never do that.
So last time Berm made an unwanted advance on me, it got weird. So
yeah, well, that's a different Cameron. This one is my Cameron.
Your Cam,
Cameron, Cam Brown, and so he missed.
What about Cam with a K? Cam Babb? Where's he fall in?
Well, I mean, all three of them are in Berm's group, the
Okay.
foursome. So I try and leave that. Actually, he can't have my camera. But I don't know. Anyway, so
It was coming off the
people
field.
were wondering, was it? Did he have to miss something? Was it an injury thing? Are they keeping him away so he doesn't talk about it? And I was like, man, what happened? We didn't get you. Like, everyone wants to talk to you. Had class on Tuesday night. So, well, you can just talk to us
Been
instead
in
right now.
school
And
for
he's
like 17
he's like,
years.
I don't think so. I'm going to pass on that. I was like, well, I mean, are you frustrated? Like, all this talk about your pitch count, snap counts in camp. He's like, I don't know why you keep saying that. That's been over for a week. I'm like, okay. He's like, I had 2 interceptions tonight and 2 interceptions last week.
Snap.
So okay,
Here
well,
we
that's
go, Camp Brown.
that's
Let's
the
go.
money. That's the money line. I said, good. And that's bold predictions are taken care of for next week. Buckeye Leaf is taken care of, and I'll probably be talking about him again on next Monday because of this prediction. Can't.
Wow.
2 picks, ripped off one dude's helmet. Let's party.
That sounds about right to me. I'll sign up for that right now.
I like it.
Speaking of signups,
Oh yeah, guys.
It's wait,
Buckeye,
what?
Buckeye
Nicole's
Bowl
like,
Trip.
uh-huh, and Nicole's
almost-
like,
Buckeye Bowl Trip
What
giveaway
else?
launched today.
We're less than 4 months away.
I know.
We're almost.
So this is the first week. So you have to
Going
get
bowling with
on
the Buckeyes.
roosterswings.com to register. Yep, you just register,
Mhm.
and each week
Enhance.
we pick one winner, and you get to bring a guest.
pair.
Yep.
24 folks going out to the
Yep.
bowl game.
Mm.
You get tickets to the game, flight, hotel.
I thought it was
It's just
deluxe,
the best.
deluxe accommodations. I
Deluxe
believe.
accommodations.
That's
That's
what
exactly
that
right.
means, yeah.
A live version of the Horseshoe Lounge at the
Yeah.
Bullseye?
Yes.
Oh, hey,
it better
what?
be. I hope so.
We're the semifinals this year.
The Rose Bowl and
Okay.
the Peach Bowl, right?
Ooh, not terrible. I would. I like the. I've never been to the Rose Bowl. I would like to go
Ooh,
there,
Rose Bowl.
but
You haven't?
Do I have
Where's
that
the
right?
PG? I
Bowl,
haven't.
is
Say
that's
that-
Atlanta, right?
yeah,
Oh, the Rose Bowl's.
I've never gone. We never played, and I've
Beautiful.
never gone
I
back.
try to take it one game at a time. That may not actually be right. No, because the championship is in LA, so it's got to be Phoenix and Atlanta.
No, they could still do the Rose Bowl.
I like going to Phoenix.
Phoenix is awesome.
Phoenix
I would
is
love
awesome,
that.
yeah.
I'll go out back out to Phoenix.
I guess I need to do my own research for the sport that I cover.
I just asked.
Well,
you a
I
simple
mean,
question.
yeah. Well, it's the first
I'm
week,
only
right?
focused on Notre Dame. Guys.
Exactly.
I know, I'm
One week
excited.
at a
in
time.
front of
And
us.
we also have fried pickles
Ooh,
for
yeah, was
appetizer
that a-
Tuesday.
Tell me more
Yes.
about that.
This
Fried
is
pickles.
How do you get that, Bob?
this is Justin Zwick's favorite appetizer. I
That's
believe.
right. Yes, it is.
Fried mushrooms are his dad's, but the fried pickles $2 appetizer Tuesday. Any of your participating Roosters locations,
Yes.
and we have them all sourced. Is there
And yes,
cucumber
that will be
shortage?
fine, guys. We still have a fry shortage, so that is a real thing.
How's
Told you.
has
So
the
we're
forecast
just
changed?
we really want to make sure people know, so they don't, because it's disappointing if you order and you're like, oh, those aren't what I wanted.
Yeah.
But we
You
still
can't
have
get
our
the chips
wedges.
as a replacement because
Sorry.
So wait,
Justin,
are
I'm
they just
working
growing
on it.
more? Are they growing more?
There was a
potatoes,
harvest problem.
Potatoes for wedges and not French fry potatoes.
Correct. And no, it's like there's like the story behind it is insane, but we should have our
into it.
fries hopefully by November.
Putin come
That's-
over and
there
dig
was
up
a
the
big-
potatoes. and
Guys,
steal
you just
them?
don't even it was
I don't
sad.
say
It was
I
like
got
a
the
big
fries back.
waste. Yeah. So you could get crinkle cut fries,
Hold
you
on.
could get waffle cut fries one day.
Could you
We're
get
taking anything and everything.
potato chips instead. Real thin
I
cut.
love it.
They're so
I
thin,
love
you get
it.
so many more.
Let
of
me
them.
put in a request.
Okay.
I'm going to put in a request and just see how that goes.
I leave it in the comment box every time I leave here.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody looks at it.
No,
I
that's
think they might. I think they
That's a
might.
they have one that they just take out. as
Justin's
soon as
comment
yeah.
box, and it just goes to the
It's like,
trash.
okay, here we go. We send these.
We're
direct-
tired. We're tired of this guy.
The special
Trash.
filing cabinet.
You guys, we are doing the best we can though, because it is a bummer. Like people love our fries. I love our fries. So, we still have our wedges and tater tots though. So
Awesome.
It is time
I mean-
for Nicole's score prediction.
If it makes you feel any better, they didn't even have fries over at the Woody Hayes for the coaches. Wedges only.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, the
I
wedges
know it's
are-
bad if the
and
coaches
potato
aren't
chips.
getting it.
Hey,
Oh,
the
man.
wedges,
The
the,
wedges are
catering
catering.
does have
Catering.
chips. The
Yeah.
catering has the chips, which
I-
is the best.
I order the wedges. They're elite.
The wedges are pretty
They're
good.
They're
I'm just
seasoned
not a
up.
big heavy potato person, but they are really good.
They are.
100%.
Mhm.
Get
What's
some
the
spicy.
score?
Like the light potatoes.
Get some of the
Ooh,
spicy ranch
guys.
42-0 Buckeyes.
The spread
Ooh.
is 17.5, Nicole. Ohio
I
State over
I
Notre Dame.
had 48-17.
Oh gosh!
Ooh.
Wow.
She came
Okay.
ready to play.
I like that.
Coming out
You
of the
like
show.
I
it?
do like
Okay,
that.
good.
A lot, actually.
Good first pick. I like
Yeah.
it.
Big win. All right, write it down. Nicole always gets the score
48-17.
predictions right.
No,
It's
remember
anxious.
last year I had a bad year. I had a bad year
Well,
last
last year
year.
was bad because you were going 17 to 48.
Okay.
We got you.
Oh,
We got
okay.
you right on that.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
We're making year-over-year improvement. That's what we
Year-
do. Sometimes
Just
week by week
working hard.
improvement.
We just keep
That's
getting
all.
Working
better.
hard, guys.
That's all we
We can only
do.
take it one week at a time and get better and better. That's Nicole Cox. She's going to go about her day. We're going to have her sub in Berm, so the show will just look different. It's an exchange.
Less attractive.
Much
And
less.
we'll come back and talk a lot more about Ohio State and Notre Dame in the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters. It's a fun, casual joint.
Roosters has been so fortunate. We just want to be able to give some of that back to the community.
They donate to organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long time.
They always go above and beyond to help support our foundation to further help veterans.
It's just a wonderful feeling to know that Roosters supports the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
All right, welcome back into Roosters Game Week. Berm has joined us.
Hey.
As Bob said, we are now in the audio-only format of the
turned
podcast.
ugly.
It's-
Hey, I wanted to just, if I could, put in one thought about what we just talked about, or what you guys just talked about.
Oh, what, your drive down this morning?
No, potatoes also make vodka. And so when you brought up
Yeah,
the president of Russia, I thought maybe
Your guy.
you were onto something there. You were onto something.
close
So,
friend.
He's trying to
Seems
ruin
like he
the
seems
fry
like a nice
industry.
Friend of the program.
Yeah, I mean, it's just anything that he can do.
Started with the gas, now it's on to
Anything that he
potatoes.
can do to drive a wedge, not a potato wedge, between America and the rest of the world, he's willing to do.
Boy, no waffling there from Berm.
That ends.
Hey, all right.
Oh boy, that ends the.
That's the skinny on that.
Okay, hey,
that ends the political.
how much Jack Harlow did you listen to on the way in today?
The whole album.
Why?
Because I said I would.
Did you
I'm a man of my
wake
word.
up hating yourself this morning?
No, it was a part of something we agreed to on the podcast daily this morning, that we would all engage in trying to figure out who the hell this fellow was. And I think
He's
that-
amazing. And he has made himself, you got to think about this, the two biggest non-NFL sporting events, I would have to say the Kentucky Derby. You've got obviously the golf coming through the summer. And then this is like the kickoff of college football.
Hey.
And he is like somehow wedged in here at the beginning and end of summer.
he did it, and good for him. He reminded me of I mean, if we're going to break down the musical stylings a bit,
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
I
Hey, what
felt
is he?
I had a little bit of J. Cole vibe to him, which I'm a fan of. So I didn't hate the music. I just had never heard of it. And as I said on the podcast daily, I'm a super hip 43-year-old. So
The super,
I should have
super
known.
hippest.
I should have been knowing about him. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't being
Should've
known.
been? Wow.
That's good. I
J.
mean,
Cole.
you know, that drive from Detroit, I made that a bunch. I remember I listened
I don't
to,
live in Detroit. Let me be very clear.
You live in Michigan outside Detroit.
I don't. I live
Everything
outside
About
of
an
Detroit.
hour outside of
Everything in
Detroit.
Michigan is just outside Detroit.
It is.
Okay.
As soon as you
All
cross over,
Where at, dude?
you're right
Is it
there.
This one?
I live 1 mile,
Show me on the hand.
Right here.
1 mile into Michigan.
Ooh, so Detroit.
So
So
my-
suburbs of Detroit.
So my drive to Ohio is literally 6 minutes.
Well, I mean,
It's a long mile.
Well, you have to get to the highway.
He runs.
do
Anyway,
you park your car and leave
He
it
parks
in
it in
Ohio?
Ohio.
And walk,
He's like Woody. He's not giving that state anything.
should we talk about things that are important?
Sure. Who do you think needs to shine for the Buckeyes
Who's
on
your,
Saturday
who's your
night?
Buckeye leaf?
I think it has to be DeJuan Jones. That's the guy for me against
Did not see that coming.
or Paris Johnson, whatever. The offensive tackles have to be the guys to really lead the way. I think for the offensive to be what it has to be, they have to keep C.J. Stroud upright. And Isaiah Foskey is one of the better defensive ends in the country for Notre Dame. And I think that's a matchup that could, especially early in the game when all the juices are going, that I think you could have a break play or two go the wrong way if that goes wrong. So to me, that's the matchup that matters. If this game is clean from Ohio State's perspective, no turnovers, no dumb penalties, nothing like that, I think that you see them pull away in the third and fourth quarter fairly comfortably. But in the beginning part where there's the nerves, I think that DeJuan Jones against Isaiah Foskey is the matchup that to me matters.
Do they
the
flop
most.
Foskey or does he stay on
I
offside?
mean, I've seen him move him around, but I think
thought I've seen him on both sides. I'd probably be a little more worried against Big Thanos over there.
oh, but just because we've seen him struggle against that speed rusher type
What do you
defense,
mean?
we'll pull down the tape in this audio only portion of.
Yeah, turn on the tape. And DeJuan, to his credit, we talked about this earlier in training camp, that he embraced the fact that that's where he needed to get better. And he lost, 35 pounds as a part of the ongoing effort to improve physically and make sure that he can handle that stuff on the edge. He thought about going to the NFL after the last season, and the feedback was what we're talking about. Everybody watched what happened in the
Hey,
end
you
of
remember
November.
that last game?
Yeah. And
See that one?
Hey, let's cut this tape on here. Do you remember this one?
It was it was a pretty short conversation.
Yeah.
But you put in, you get your grade and you get your feedback, and it was the same that I think we all could have told him ourselves, but we're not NFL scouts, and he's not going to listen to DeJuan if I tell him, but you probably told him that, Bob.
What was concerning was that we watched him against Jack Sawyer last August, and it was the same problem that he had in November against Aiden Hutchinson. So you'd hope that's
Improvement.
that there's been improvement from then to now. So that ultimately, like I said, is why that matchup to me sort of sets the tone for the game early.
Isaiah Prosky. There we go. Does he become a legend in the shoe burn?
Isaiah Foskey.
Or Foskey.
Well, we should probably just, rewind. Does he? You certainly have to hope not, right? For Ohio State's sake, because if he does, then the Buckeyes lose that game.
Okay. Wow. Loss.
If he becomes a legend in the shoe, Ohio State is going to lose. If a defensive player from Notre Dame becomes a legend.
Khalil Mack became a legend in the shoe in one game, and they still won.
That was Buffalo.
Oh, I mean, he had one of the most impressive plays I've ever seen.
I think the spread was about the same.
It really was.
All right. Fair point.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Bob, Jay-Z, a season opener. Got the nerves, the jitters. What's it like to go out for week one?
The thing is, I mean, we played Texas Tech my freshman year, but typically you don't have, like, the big game opening the season. Usually it's, hey, the team you feel like you can beat. So if you make a mistake, you give up an early sack. Maybe you get – like we played San Diego State my senior year. They ran a bubble screen on the first play of the game. I don't know if you remember this. They had like 170 yards of total offense in the game.
85 of them.
They had like 80 of them on the first play. Yeah. He ran through there and no one touched him. We had just lost to Texas the week before. They came to the sideline. Like, it was literally the opening play of the game, like heads down, ashamed, bad. And then they got like one first down the rest of the game. But that's moral of the story is you can win that game 40-7 because there's nothing else they can do. Whereas this, you make some mistakes, give up a score early on, have some turnovers early on like that. That's something that can come back to haunt you, especially at home where there's a little bit of like nervous energy, I think, for some of these non-conference games. If you go back, I mean, we beat Washington State, I think, early in our career. Washington, I think James and them beat Washington at home.
Yeah,
one
they
time.
went to Washington and beat them. I don't know if
but at home, I'm trying to think. You think like maybe that Miami game at home was the closest thing you get, but you start looking like USC, some of these games, Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Who else? Oklahoma. I mean, they've lost a lot of the Oregon last year. They've lost a lot of the big non-conference games. So there's like an element of looking at this to where, we better make sure that we're ready to go. And I think the fans, because if you don't go early, you get that like weird feeling.
Because of those games.
Yes, you get that weird
feeling.
Says,
like, here we go again.
Oh, like we're kind of,
it's
slow. Like nervous rumblings on a 3rd and 7 when you like put one in the dirt or get pressure. And it's like, oh gosh, like, come on, let's just score a point and let's get this thing going.
Yeah. Well, the pressure is certainly on you guys in this situation as the players at Ohio State in that sort of environment, more so than it is on Notre Dame, right? I mean,
100%.
17-point underdogs.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame come in here feeling fine because they're not supposed to win this game and it's not supposed to be close. But I remember back 2004, you remember Dino left and went to Cincinnati. That was our opener, my sophomore year. It would have been your junior.
Yeah.
But I remember being kind of nervous about that one because Dino was awesome. Mm-hmm. And he had just left our team, and he knew who we had lost, and he knew our personnel. And, it's like as a quarterback, I'm like, what's he going to dial up?
Yeah.
What's he going to dial up against me? Because he knows, what he's dealing with here. So that's a little bit different than kind of. I guess they have Al Washington's on the staff over there. So, I mean, they have guys.
James,
I mean, you have a couple old Buckeyes, so they know how the programs run, and they know what to expect. I think they also know that they don't have the horses to maybe run with Ohio State, but they're playing that up probably big on their side. And first game, big underdogs, let's go shock the world type thing. So you always have that to worry about. But like Bob said, early on, just getting in the rhythm of the game, feeling comfortable, not putting that extra pressure on yourself, like, I got to be perfect, or we got to get this. You just got to let the game come to you a little bit and just kind of. It's going to be new for everybody. It's the first game for them.
Yeah.
So everybody's learning. They got new guys starting and whatnot. So I think they'll be fine.
Oh, there's also a worry, I think. And I wouldn't say a worry, but if you're CJ, like this is why I think it's important, for guys to have a second year in college. Last year coming out, I mean, it's just what can he do? We'll figure it out.
We're not sure, and then it's like 3 games in, bench him, we want somebody else.
Yeah, now it's, hey, I mean, you better go out there and
you're supposed to win the Heisman this year.
200 yards passing at halftime. So if you have like 2 3 and outs, or he puts one in the dirt, like, okay, then there's that expectation. Do you start to press? That's always a worry. I go back, though, when Greg Madison came down here, defensive coordinator, at Michigan, comes down here with Ryan right away.
And with Al,
and they come in, and I asked him, like, what's the difference? He's like, we've got way better players here than we did up there. And I think that Al probably going there looks around. I mean, he had witnessed this. And so you're not telling your own guys that when you're on the short end of that, but
you see it.
You know it. I mean, you can see, like, hey, we're on our 4th receiver, and if we had all of our guys healthy, we still wouldn't have as good of receivers as they have.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, there's Jim Knowles, who prepared for a month for Notre Dame 10 months ago, 12, to
and
walk,
then left,
and then left.
Yeah.
And now he's seeing it from I'm preparing for Notre Dame with a much better team than I had before. So, I mean, you've gotten a chance to speak to him more than anyone else. Do you see him going back to that tape at all and saying this is?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, people were like, "Hey, look how bad they were." I'm like, well, first of all, he won there. Yeah, he was on his way out, and he actually wasn't at the game.
The bowl game, it didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
and they ultimately, they ended up getting stops and winning the game, but they have much better players here. Now, they did have our guy, Rodrigo, from or Rodriguez,
Hard Knocks.
but they call him Rodrigo. Now, I like him. They had some good players, but they just didn't have the depth and quantity that they obviously had. And Oklahoma State still ended up winning that game. They go back to the Oklahoma game last year. I'm like, I thought they played pretty well against Oklahoma in large parts. I mean, you put guys in situations to have success, but they ultimately have to make the play. And so if any coach will tell you, like, I can put you there, but you've got to go do it. And so hopefully here at Ohio State, you feel like you have more of those guys that can actually go execute on those plays.
I think that's one of the more fascinating elements of this game is that Ohio State has the big point spread. They're expected to win the Big Ten. They're expected to get to the college football playoff again. They're projected to have a Heisman Trophy finalist, maybe a winner. And you think in week 1, well, everyone will expect perfection.
Yes.
And the standard may well be the standard, but
standard is the standard.
It's also difficult to go out in week 1 and you haven't played a game in 9 months and play flawless football. Like
I will tell you this. Yeah. Defense travels a lot easier. Like, it's a lot easier to be good at defense. There's less – not that there's not coordination and timing. Like, everybody has to be on the same page. But it's a lot easier to mess stuff up on the offensive side of the ball with things. And, I feel like this defense, they're confident in being able to stop the run, which is what Notre Dame is going to come out. There's a physicality to them that they probably didn't feel like they had last year. And so the front seven, like, hey, we got this. Going against Ohio State every day, their offense, you should feel good about it if you're getting stops. And I feel like there's an element, seeing that now, that probably didn't exist entering last
What do you
season.
attribute that to, though? I mean, these are
guys,
by and large the same guys. So what changed?
The coaching
scheme a little bit, but part of it too. And everybody wants to say scheme. I like the scheme. Don't get me wrong. I think Jim Knowles is doing a great job, but a lot of it is, hey, I'm a better player now because I'm Tommy Eichenberg and Steel Chambers, and I played an entire season last year, so I'm better. The guys in front of me are better. The safeties, all the corner, like all of those guys got more reps. And so you see things, and then you start to develop confidence. Your guys in front of you are making plays. You can play faster. And I think the scheme is important. Don't get me wrong. Jim Knowles will sit there. I'd rather have better players with than a great scheme because ultimately they're the ones that have to go get it done. So you see how fast those guys play, and that's due to confidence in the scheme, but then also just confidence of seeing something and going.
And you got to think, this offseason was different than what they've had in the last couple of years. I think everybody will come out and tell you that, right?
Yeah.
So you throw that on top of having new coaches who are maybe teaching things differently or who are very eager to get you in the classroom and help you learn this new system, this new scheme, matching with the new level of, urgency in the building. I think the guys are just eager to get that new offense, eager to be better on that side of the ball this year. And, they got new coaches, new people they're dealing with, but they're excited to get out there. And everything we've heard out of camp is they're going to be all right. I mean, what do you say, top 10 defense?
Why not top 5?
Why not?
Jim Knowles says top 5. And then Steel Chambers said, no, I think we should be number 1. So
yes.
So they're saying they got the confidence.
Steel says more than Tommy does.
Well, yeah. Tommy doesn't say anything. But
Tommy doesn't say anything.
People get mad at me when I say Tommy doesn't. Jim says he's the great communicator. I'm like, he's the best. He's like the loudest guy in the library.
With the locker room, he may say a little bit more. Certainly not into a microphone.
He's got a sweet mustache.
Those people matter a lot more than we do.
That's probably right.
I'm curious. I wonder if he's going to rock that stash into the game. That's going to be a big piece. He had it last week. I don't know if I'm trying to think if he had it this weekend or not. I don't remember.
But taking some dudes for a mustache ride out there?
Why not?
Put them in
all over the field from sideline to sideline.
The other thing that you said, Jay-Z, like about the offseason was physically and mentally different. Like coming out of COVID, they lost, the ability to work out as a team. Even last year, there were still hurdles and learning opportunities, this name, image, and likeness, and the transfer portal, and all these other things that change the way college football operates. This was far more normal just from a purely physical aspect. And then mentally, there can't be any complacency if you didn't win the Big Ten, if you didn't win gold pants, if you didn't go to the playoff. Like, this will be the first time, and it doesn't really mesh with the expectations of going to a college football playoff and a national championship and all that stuff. But this team hasn't accomplished that yet. Like, nobody has. Jackson hasn't won a set of gold pants. When they got to Indy 2 years ago, he had COVID. He didn't get to play in the game. And then you lost 2020 and the opportunity that they had to really end Jim Harbaugh's career that was ripped away from them. Like, they haven't had those chances, right? Yeah. I mean, so you look at what we know who all these people are and C.J. Stroud's individual accomplishments, but the team stuff hasn't happened for this group yet.
Yeah, I mean, as a team, they're sitting there thinking, we're the first team that lost to those guys in how many years? Right. That's almost like a, 10. I don't want to say embarrassed. It's like an embarrassing feeling almost. Like, man, we let all these guys before us down. We were that one. We should have been.
I think it is an embarrassing feeling.
Not almost. It is.
Well, yes. Okay. Fair.
I have to sit there and tell my little tackle football team that Coach Backus beat us at Northwestern back in 2004.
Yeah.
And it's the only time they've lost in like 55 years in Northwestern.
That was embarrassing. You're right.
I'm like, it's embarrassing for me to say that. Yeah. It's terrible.
Jeff Backus was a hell of a football player.
He was. 100%. I'm not taking anything
away.
He's
a hell of a surgeon. My dad's going to go in and see him.
I'm not telling them anything. I'm not saying anything disparaging against them. But when you haven't lost to a team in 33 years and then you lose to them and then they win every time they've played them for like the last 20 after that.
It was pretty bad.
Stings pretty bad.
Pretty bad watching you guys play that game.
That one was no fun. I'll tell you that much.
A lot of bad feelings in 2004.
I think those two feel worse than you do.
Probably.
Yeah.
I know Berm takes it pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean,
drive back to Michigan.
He put a lot into that season, he said.
I really did. I really did. You know how many I used to live in Arizona, right?
Oh, so really?
That was at that time.
By the way, I did check. I got my mind around it eventually, and I should have realized what the logo I was wearing. It is Phoenix and Atlanta for the bowl trip winners. Nice. Those are possibilities.
There we go.
So,
and Berm used to live.
At that time, I lived in Phoenix, so I had to get up to watch those games at like 8:30 in the morning.
Okay? Oh, wow. You had to get up?
Yeah.
Set your alarm?
I had to start drinking pretty early in the morning to deal with you guys in 2004.
So did
that was a night game, though, so it would have been middle of the day.
That's true. It was a 3:30 game, but I appreciated that at least I had the full day to prepare myself for that.
But we did beat Michigan at the end of the year for you, so that 8:30 wake up would have been nice.
Thanks to Teddy going cray-cray.
There you go.
Did you not get up earlier than 8:30 for the rivalry game?
That was like a 7:30.
Watching it in bed, just turn it on. That would be so bizarre. Like, that's the one thing about living on the West Coast, Western time, like Pacific time. Waking up
and watching sports.
Watching sports just like in your bed. Usually when you'd be sitting there like trying to get sobered up and you get rid of your hangover and watching game day, that's okay. But like actually watching a live game, that would be
because the game is then over by 12:30 and your day is done. Because I'm like, the Ohio State Michigan game.
Well, it's either going to be a great day,
right? So by that time, you watch the Ohio State Michigan game in 2004, and you're drinking, a lot of pops by noon.
Yeah,
and
6-4 Buckeye squad, ragtag group of renegades. Bring it the Wolverines, top 10 ranked, 8th ranked, 9-1 coming to town. I think we were probably 11, 10-point dogs.
So that was a fun one. That was a day I remember sleeping a good portion of the rest of that day. But
he poured a lot into that.
Poured a lot of heart and soul, boys. A lot of heart and soul in those games.
Great way to end the season for Berm that year.
All right. What is the score going to be on Saturday night in the Horseshoe?
Gosh, I liked Nicole's score.
Yeah, that was good.
That was
what did she say?
Nice.
She said 48-17.
I might go 45-17.
That was what
I mean, I was going to be around.
That's why I went first. I didn't want to let you steal it from me.
Well, when Nicole started hers, like, okay. Well, I think we're all on the same page.
Offense just doesn't seem, for Notre Dame, like they'll be able to put up a lot of points. I think everybody's going to be pleasantly surprised by this defense, and I'm hoping that 17 doesn't even feel as good as it like 17 could. Like it's not 17 in the first half. It's 7 in the first half. Get a couple in the fourth. Yeah, and then 10 points in the fourth, and you feel better about it. Maybe they get to 21. I'm telling you, I think this defense has a lot of pride after getting beat up last year, where no matter who's in there, they're going to make sure they have good film out and good tape.
Gosh. I'm going to just
Oh, Jay-Z looks nervous over
I'm
there.
just going to do it and go 56-10.
56-10.
My goodness.
Woo! Jay-Z's
That's
taking
an
a
Austin-
page
that
out
is
of
an
the
Austin-
Austin.
I mean, just
Ford
think about
playbook.
this.
I love it.
CJ comes out, maybe has three or four touchdowns before half. Is not crazy to think about.
No, definitely
With a
not.
new quarterback starting for them, 3 and outs, we're getting the ball, we're humming. Whew,
Okay.
it's going to be nice. As long as the second half doesn't get too
That's bold.
crazy with some, the mop-up time, whatever.
Well, I don't think this is a game you do a lot of mop-up time unless you're at 56-7.
Well, 45 to 7, or I mean, you're going to get your second team guys in there.
I think they will, especially on the defensive side. They have guys that can play that I feel like they will.
I don't consider that mop-up time, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's, valuable play time. Not
Yes.
mop-up time is bring in your third-string quarterback and run, a couple of draws, but I don't think that's.
I don't. Yeah.
All right, mop-up time apparently was not the right thing.
No, I'm telling
you
him.
know what I'm
I'm
talking
telling
about.
this guy, not
Getting
you.
our
You're
starters
right.
out, putting other people in.
I think starters are staying in this game. 42-24, Ohio State is the fight.
That's
24,
not even.
that's a lot of points.
He put it right on that number.
I think Michael Mayer is going to score 3 touchdowns for Notre Dame.
Really?
Get out of here. Is he going to be a legend in Ohio Stadium?
Because he's still going to lose 42-24, but I think
That's you
you
don't
think
even.
he's going to get 3?
Sure.
The tight end.
give him
The one
let's
weapon
give him
they have.
let's give him 10 catches for 140
So you
and 3
still
scores.
have them
I
42.
will
You
take
still
the-
have the cover then, barely.
I will
Okay.
take the under on that.
So you don't think that Jim Knowles will do anything to try and take away Notre Dame's best player?
Hey, guys, let's let that
They're
guy
just gonna
run
let-
free down the
I
middle.
think
Don't worry about
I
it.
think if you can let a tight end do what tight end. He's not going to have 280 yards. He's not going to have a
You
jet.
have
3
140.
tutties, like,
You gave him 3
They
tutties.
gotta
and
go
10
down. They gotta go down the field.
10,
and get him 3
10
tutties?
catches,
10
140, 3
catches,
scores.
140, 3 scores.
Yeah, Buckeyes cover.
Oh, but not him. They may be covering on the board.
Yeah, they're not
cover everyone
covering
else.
that guy. They're
Cover
not covering the
everyone else.
tight end.
Who else? Their receivers are all hurt.
You don't let Styles and Colsey and these guys beat you on the outside, and you don't let the running game take over.
Is there
So-
any threat that those guys actually could beat Ohio
Yes.
State's corners?
Sure, there are.
I mean, they could fall down.
They're good athletes. It's Notre Dame.
Can we not? It's Notre Dame.
They're
Listen, you
they're
sound
on
like
scholarship.
you sound like a coach
Oh,
now.
boy.
They've got
It's not-
players.
They're
too.
on
I think
scholarship.
we're-
I mean, what the
It's
heck?
not Western Michigan. I mean,
We're
it's
starting
Notre
to
Dame.
get. Berm is advancing straight to the last week of
It's
November
Notre Dame.
already.
You
He's
don't
like-
just.
He's
It's not like
he's
you-
snake bit from last year. He's like, I'm just not gonna believe.
I'm going to believe that Ohio State's going to win the game by 3 scores. I just think that you're going to have to give up something to make sure that you don't
And
let
that
the rest of
apparently
it.
is going to be
But
3
why would-
touchdowns to
Why
1 tight
wouldn't you
end.
give up something?
Because
that
I don't care
still-
about getting beat by the tight end in the middle of the field, dink and dunk stuff. That's what I'm talking about. I don't want. I don't
It's dink
think
and dunk. You gave the guy 10 for $140 and 3 scores.
that's
It's
a good
not
day.
dink and dunk.
It's a good day.
A
14
good
yards a
day.
catch.
That's a
14
career day.
Dinking and dunking a first down every time he touches
Against
the
the
ball.
number 2 team in the country on the road.
What's your prediction, Austin? Let's hear it.
I don't know. if this
100 to
quarterback's-
nothing.
I'm having more fun with
This quarterback's not going to have 10
The
completions.
Buckeyes are going to win 100-0.
They're not playing Rutgers this week.
Let's hear it.
They're not playing Rutgers. It's not going to be
No,
100
against was that who was it last year that it was literally almost 40 to something at halftime. They could've
Michigan
scored-
State was 49-0.
Yes, and they literally. I felt like they could have scored 100.
They scored a
if they
touchdown on the first drive of the
And then
second half
stopped.
and then stopped. Yeah.
That was quite a performance.
I was going there
gonna
hoping
get
for
my
a
100 to nothing.
reasonably decent game.
Well, that was, I think, Ryan Day saying, you just signed Mel Tucker
Tucker,
to how much
yeah.
money?
It's like-
Ryan was trying to match it on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Mel Tucker went back there and was like trying to get DocuSign on his phone in the locker room. He's like, I didn't get this done yet. Yeah, I really liked 45-17. Bob took it, and then I
You
realized
can
that
still
I wasn't-
use it. It's not
No,
a.
I don't. No,
That's what I mean.
It's
I
taken.
was thinking the 48 to 17. 20.
Scoregami. You don't want it to be taken by somebody.
Origami.
So instead, I will say 52-17.
Wow.
Just give him one extra tutty from what I thought. Because Jay-Z's right. They're going to score a bunch of points, and it'll be over by halftime.
That's the Cam Martinez punt return touchdown, obviously.
Oh, that's a great point.
Had to
That's
get
gonna
him
happen
in.
too. Yeah. Slid.
Slid him in here at the end.
Didn't take him for his Buckeye leaf, so still had to find another way.
100-0 Buckeyes.
Like,
This tight end's going to be a Hall of Famer. Off
you
of
think
this
that we
game
should
alone.
take Rutgers score predictions more seriously than that?
Maybe.
It's not like I'm predicting them to beat Notre Dame by 100. They're just going to cover with ease. Because Notre Dame does not match up 1 through 85. It's not even close.
I agree.
We'll find out on Saturday night. All this offseason talk will be over. We'll have a game to break down next Tuesday, probably. Not going to come on Sunday.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. We've got a holiday weekend.
It'll
to
be
enjoy
Tuesday.
After that. Tuesday. We'll break that down. We'll have the first game to evaluate and give out some Buckeye leaves from Roosters next Tuesday. Thanks for joining us in the Horseshoe Lounge. Appreciate Nicole Cox for having us. Jay-Z, Bob, Berm, I'm Austin. Enjoy the season opener on Saturday night, folks. We'll see you next week.